Hello, I'm Brother Anton from the community of the Beatitudes. It's a Catholic community born in France, and we are in Israel since 1975. In this place of Emmaus, we are since 1993. We live here in a biblical place where Jesus appeared after his resurrection. But already in the Old Testament, the place is mentioned. We are here on the border of the valley of Ayalon, which is mentioned in connection with the story of Joshua son of Nun, who fought a battle against the kings of Canaan in the valley of Ayalon, and here he stopped the sun and the moon. It's a story of the battle between the sons of Israel and the kings of Canaan, and Joshua stops the sun and moon to vanquish his enemies even during the night. So it took place here in this valley, which is called the valley of Ayalon. Here you see also, we are here 40 kilometers from Tel Aviv. You see Tel Aviv in the background, and also the town of Ramle, which is closest to us. So we are exactly between Jerusalem and Tel Aviv. Jerusalem is in the mountain in the east, and Tel Aviv is near the seashore, Mediterranean seashore, in the west. We have many visitors coming here. And here you see the building of the British police. That building where today it is Tank Museum, but this building was built by British in 1930s as a police station to protect the road between Jaffa and Jerusalem. And in 1948, this is the place where the first battle started, which ensued into the Israeli independence war and the creation of the state of Israel. In 1948, the country was divided by the decision of United Nations between a Jewish and Arabic state. But so this British building of the British police was occupied by an Arabic force, and this Arabic force closed the passage to Jerusalem, so the Jews were not able to access Jerusalem. So the Jews started to attack from the south to open the road to Jerusalem. So there was an important battle here in Latrun. The place is called Latrun. It was an important battle here in 48. So the Jews did not conquer this place in 48. So between 1948 and 1967, all this zone was under Jordanian rule. It's only in 1967 that this region and the mountain was taken by Israel. So we are standing now on what is called the West Bank, in fact, because before 1967 the border between Israel and Jordan was a little bit further on there in the valley. So this place was under Jordanian kingdom, and some of this territory was no man's land. Now we shall see the most ancient things we have here are the Jewish tombs from the Jewish village of Emmaus, which was here 2,000 years ago. So here we are near a Jewish tomb, which testifies to the fact that 2,000 years ago there was a Jewish village here. So as there was a village, so there were also tombs where people were burying the dead people. This very typical tomb from time of Jesus. Only the stone which was closing the entrance is lacking here. 2,000 years ago, Jews were burying people only for 1 year. And after 1 year, they were gathering bones into stone coffins, which are called ossuaries, because they believed that only bones would rise from the dead. So this is, we have several tombs like this here in this place, which shows us that there was a Jewish village. This Jewish village of Emmaus is mentioned for the first time in the books of Maccabees. There is a story about the battle between Jews and Greeks at Emmaus in the year 167 before Christ. So this is the first mention of Emmaus in history. Before this, we don't know if the village existed, but in 167 before Christ, the country was occupied by Greeks, and the Jewish inhabitants started a revolt against Greeks under the leadership of Judas the Maccabee, who was from the town of Modi'in, which is not far from here. And here at Emmaus there was an important battle where Jews vanquished the Greeks. So after this they went to Jerusalem to purify the temple. And this event is celebrated every year by the Jewish feast of Hanukkah in December. Now, the Jews lived here till the 2nd century AD. In the 1st century AD, there was already an important revolt, Jewish revolt against Romans, because the country was under Roman occupation during the 1st and the 2nd centuries AD. So there was a very important revolt in the year 70 AD, but also a second revolt was in the year 135 AD. This last revolt was led by Jewish hero Bar Kokhba, and this revolt was not a success. The Romans vanquished the Jews and expelled them from Jerusalem and the whole region. So also Emmaus stopped to be Jewish. This town was started to be inhabited by Romans. So that's why we have also Roman tombs here. So on the top of the Jewish tomb here we have a Roman tomb. We can have a look of it.
Yeah.
Let's go. See it? So this is a typical Roman tomb. Do you see it?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
We can open this if you want.
This is unbelievable. Look at this. Oh wow. And it's on top of it.
Yeah, this Roman tomb is exactly on the top of the Jewish tomb. This Roman tomb is pagan. It's not Christian. It's a pagan tomb from 2nd century AD, maybe 2nd, 3rd century AD. We know that in the 3rd century AD, this Roman village received the status of a polis, a city. And the place was called Nicopolis, the city of victory. So today the place is known as Emmaus Nicopolis. Yeah. So
unbelievable.
And also you can see that Romans were producing wine here, just on here, you see.
This one here was to make wine?
Yeah, this is place to put the grapes, to trample them.
And there's the hole to get it out, no?
Yeah, the juice was going out through the small hole. So the pagans, the Romans were pagans, so they were not separating food from the tomb. You see.
Unbelievable.
And we know also that there was already a small Christian community here, even in this Roman city, because there was a famous Christian writer, Julius Africanus, living here in the 3rd century. We know this from Christian historians like Eusebius of Caesarea. Yeah. So there was already Christian community, and we know also from the Christian writers that Christians were venerating here the house where Jesus broke the bread when he came here. Yeah.
Emmaus.
Yeah.
The story of Emmaus.
Yeah. Let's speak about the story of Emmaus further on.
Okay. Fantastic. Voilà.
So here we have also another Jewish tomb from the time of Jesus. It's also very typical, with this stone which was closing the entrance. Jesus was also buried in a tomb like this, but he was buried in a tomb of a rich man. So his tomb was very big and nice. This is a rather small tomb, and you see that the entrance is very small. So people were not very big at that period. Yeah, not like today. People were not eating vitamins enough. They were small. So this tomb was found about 20 years ago in excavations, and inside there were some ossuaries still. Ossuaries. So
what does it mean, ossuary?
Ossuary is the stone coffin in which Jews were putting bones, waiting for the resurrection.
And you found a complete...
we found ossuaries which were destroyed by some stones which fell from the floor, from the ceiling, from the top. But they were reconstructed, and they today in our museum.
We may see that later.
Yeah, we may see. So here we are in our small archaeological museum. We see here the ossuaries from the Jewish tombs. These ossuaries are 2,000 years old. They served to collect the bones after 1 year in the tomb, because the Jews believed that only bones would rise from the dead. So these ossuaries were for the bones. We have here this big Byzantine mosaic, which comes from the Byzantine church, which is at our archaeological site. This is a typical mosaic from Byzantine church. Yeah. It has no religious motives. It only served for the beauty. Yeah. There are some animals here: a lion with a bull, and leopard with a gazelle, and some birds, with the flowers. We have here some inscriptions in Greek which mention names of people. We do not know who were these people. Yeah. These people probably created the mosaic, or they were buried there. Only this mosaic mentions a bishop. This mosaic mentions a bishop, but there is no name of this bishop. So we know that this place was a bishopric, because we have seen already the baptistry, which testifies to the fact that there was a bishop here. So we have also an inscription mentioning a bishop. But otherwise, we don't have any idea of who these people are who are mentioned here. So this is also the part of the building of the Fathers of Betaram, which was built in 1931. So now we shall see our roof, where we have the project of installing the solar panels. Yeah. Okay.